We're back. We're back. So many people didn't even know we left. Snowsuit Poetry is back from hiatus. You want to learn the reasons behind said hiatus, at least partially, check out my Chad Parento's Lost Causes newsletter, which you can subscribe to via Substack. It's linked via Facebook, and it's also linked Twitter and a number of sites that are in my use. Oh, no spot for you this evening, Ethan. You're there as a diehard fan. Not a problem. Thank you, Ethan. We're going to proceed with the open mic and then welcome our feature, our inaugural feature after our long delay, who I was happy to see perform with the Garage Poets back during the Oddball Festival. That was a hell of a time. And I think I have video footage of that hopefully this weekend I'll get up there on Zoom, not Zoom, on TikTok and other venues. It was a great performance, and but it is a solo. It is the solo album tonight. He is the John Lennon of the group, advertising his new collection and his new publication credits. He just got accepted into the Beat anthology, and we were both in the Fuck Florida issue of Unlikely Stories Mark V, which is an amazing issue. A lot of fun on such a dreary topic as Ron DeSantis's Florida, but work like Jeff's and a host of others make it worth reading. So we're gonna go to the open mic now. We're gonna start strong and long, and go with Mr. John Wesick, who last time he was with us did the story on the killings of living serial mascots. It was Who Framed Roger Rabbit of its time.
Okay, Chad. Well, I've got another story up called The Big Snooze, and I'll read you a little bit of that.
Sounds great.
Never play 3-card Monty with a llama, especially one wearing a pink bridle and straw hat. The dealer tossed 3 cards from hoof to hoof. They came to rest face down, and I pointed to the middle one. He turned them over, and the queen was on my left. One more try. The llama sipped yerba mate through a metal straw, turned the cards over, and slid them on the cardboard box. Just $5. I pulled my earlobe. On a prearranged signal, the vice squad moved in. A cop the size of a linebacker tackled the llama and used 3 pair of handcuffs and a half-dozen zip ties to disable him. But that didn't prevent the officer from getting a juicy tablespoon of llama spit in the eye. When the cops shoved the llama into a police car, they banged his head on the roof, much like a frustrated cook would pound a bottle of Damson plum ketchup on the counter to free the last stubborn drops. I knew budget cuts made the situation at the Bay City Zoo bad, but never would have guessed it was this desperate. Basking in a hot Santa Ana wind that blew like a negative ionic hairdryer with 110,000 RPM brushless motor, high-speed, low-noise thermal control, and magnetic nozzle, I strolled to the capybara exhibit. The world's largest rodents refused to earn their keep by doing handstands and somersaults. Instead, they lounged on beach towels beside a concrete pool. A 3-foot bonobo approached. She had small ears, a slight brow ridge, and pink lips. The dark hair that covered her body formed a natural part of her scalp. Are you Morris Pillbottle? I nodded. Have you heard rumors about bonobos' sex lives? Well, they're true. She undid the top button of her khaki work shirt. How boo how, the panda would like a word. I'll be waiting for you afterwards. I followed her to the panda enclosure and through a gate and a chain-link fence in the rear. Pines and eucalyptus shaded How Boo How's open-air patio. A treadmill and rowing machine offered exercise. From the occupant's rotund body, he must not have used them often. How do you like your bamboo? How Boo How broke off a stalk and passed it to me. He had a black and white coat with black fur on his ears, eye patches, and limbs and shoulders. on the tree. I pointed to the Vote Now for How campaign posters stapled to the fence. Not many pandas run for mayor. It's about time they did. How took a bite of bamboo. His large canines indicated that this placid animal descended from predators might become one again. What's your platform? I'll replace El Cajon Boulevard with bamboo forests to eliminate street prostitution and provide healthy snacks. But tell me about yourself, Mr. Pillbottle. As you know, I'm a private detective. I came to Bay City after my last case to help the boys in blue by going undercover. The reward money will buy gas to get me to Bakersfield with enough change for a bag of potato chips. I need another job to get the rest of the way home. Then you're in luck. How passed me an envelope. I'll get straight to the point. I'm being blackmailed again. Pandas only mate once a year, but a certain bonobo can be quite irresistible. I know what you mean. She wanted me to do her doggy style, but I left my shock collar at home. Needless to say, evidence of my indiscretions could end my political career. And you want me to pay off the blackmailer. I looked through photos that showed How dressed as Pablo Escobar, while the bonobo, wearing an orange jumpsuit that said Jeffrey Dahmer, dripped hot wax on his nipples. It was wrong on so many levels. I mean, Halloween was a month away. That's right. How bit into another stalk of bamboo. You realize there's nothing to prevent the blackmailer from extorting you again. A chance I'll take. How worried a strip of bamboo caught between his teeth with his tongues. You mentioned someone blackmailed you before. What happened the first time? My previous assistant, a former Marine named Major Overhaul, took care of it. Disappeared a month ago, left a note saying he missed Camp Lejeune. You know him? I used to keep up with Major Overhaul, but it's been a long time. Too long. Where do I start? How turned over a photo to show Quito, Ecuador's logo on the back. I recalled his name from the low-card empanada phase several years back. Vivian will give you the payoff money. How does a fee of $200 a day sound? Better than 10% off at Denny's. Excellent. If you'll excuse me, I need to go balance a beach ball on my nose to entertain the voters. And I'll stop there and post a link to the story in the chat so you can read the rest of it. Thank you.
I love that. I said your last story was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of our time. Now it's now yours. This story is the Zootopia of our time, which I thought was Zootopia, but apparently not. I'll be looking forward to that link. Oh, it's up at Lukey Vans. Is that you?
Yes, Luke Evans.
Luke Evans.
It's called Underside Stories. And
gotcha. Lukey Vans. What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, Luke Evans, the big snooze. That is very nice. I didn't realize Substack was publishing fiction, original fiction too, or some venues were.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. You know, it's just so some literary thing that has a website. So
it's really nice. So I'll be subscribing to this. Content warning: excess of similes and general raunchiness, not to be missed. Up next, speaking of general raunchiness, here we are with Mr. Oh my God, did he just jump out? Did he just I was just about to, oh, here he is. For some reason you jumped from one scene to another place to another, Bill. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis.
Jesus, you didn't warn me. I thought you were doing, geez, lordy. He does that to me all the time. Oh, Chadford. I am so happy to be here. You are my hero making it happen. I've been so lonely without it. 3 weeks with like $1 million. I just couldn't believe that we were separated from each other all this time. Oh, so I wrote some of the classical angry poetry or begging poetry about the fact that our sanctuary cities are turning away people who are here because they were invited here, and I'm very angry at all of this. How can you turn them away? There are migrants in the streets, and I'm just freaking out. But they were really lousy poems. They were just angry stuff, so I'm not going to do them. It's up to you. You are Boston. You have made your decisions, and I am just going to shut up about that and just do something else. I love teaching kids. It is fun, you see, because I can drive them crazier than they can drive me. I just taught my first high school class of the year today, so I was all excited. Woo! And now a very sad poem. And actually, someone can tell me if I'm using the word epitaph right, correctly. In any case, this is Epitaph to a Chicken. O glorious bird of our desire, who provides for us and never tires. Both meat and eggs are our delight, dark chicken drums and breasts of white. But now you are gone before your time, taken by some predator sublime. Farewell, sweet bird, it's you I'll miss, your little peckings like a kiss. Your little ones are orphans now, but I shall care for them, I vow. Now go and fly to chicken heaven. You'll soon be reunited, all 11. So we had 11, she had 10 chicks, and then a predator came in and, well, anyway, so there are four left, and we're praying that they're gonna make it. And I put them in a big cage. I feel like I've imprisoned my poor chickens. No more free-range chickens, because it's free-range to the, I don't know who's eating them. Blinding diamonds sparkling off the waves. I close my eyes against the intensity. But I look again, they're so lovely, enchanting, welcoming, alluring, or just luring. I steady my kayak with my paddle, my balance returns, a million tiny diamonds, all for me. And did I have one more short one that I was going to torture you with? No, I guess I will leave that for the day. So a glorious day to everyone. Take care of your chickens. Do not let evil predators come and predate on them. It's very depressing.
So the lesson is clear from Bill. Keep counting your chickens after they've hatched. So these are words of wisdom to live by. Thank you, Bill. And up next, we're going to bring up our one phone contributor for this week. Laurel Lambert might be joining us again next week, but until then, until Carol Weston gets back to me, we have our other reliable phone contributor, Nancy Dodson, who once she presses *6 will be able to start. There you go.
The cat. Cat smells a glistening hot leg. She licks the salt off legs. Fan blows. Cat enjoys joyous happiness in cool air. Bad fan sounds. Cat lies too near fan. Cat sleeps. Do not disturb in heat. Sharp claws create useful toys.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Much appreciated. Up next, we can rejoice that she has fixed her internet in the 3 weeks of our hiatus, and she's able to participate, and we can see her at the same time, which
yes.
Which when you have broken internet is not always an easy thing. It's something you take for granted. I'll just say that.
Exactly.
Let's welcome up Jackie Chow.
Okay, so are we supposed to read one poem or two poems?
Sorry, you can read a couple of poems if you like.
Okay, so the first, I'm going to read two poems. The first one is called Propinquity. You are here. You are what I'm looking for. I don't need to travel far or seek the stars to find you. Your propinquity doesn't cheapen your worth. Just because you're available doesn't make you less desirable. Just because I can touch your skin doesn't diminish your magnetism. Just because I can look into your eyes doesn't make you less of a gem. You are here. It's where I want you to be. Okay, that's one. Okay, and then I'm gonna read another poem. And the topic of this poem is toys of Southern California. And my poem is called Working Class Barbies. My dolls didn't go to the beach, running a boutique by day and sitting around a patio table at night. Their plastic arms sore from holding up leather jackets to customers. I had half a dozen Barbies and only one Ken, whom I hardly played with. His genitals made me uncomfortable when I changed his clothes. I didn't care that all the ladies coveted the same man, since they had no hearts. My parents always fought, and I never believed in marriage. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Up next, we have someone who I don't recognize from previous appearance, from previous Stone Soups. Mr. Mark States, would you be willing to read for tonight's open mic, or do you want to pass?
I would be willing.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. I was brought here by an announcement from our feature for tonight, Jeff Taylor. If only I had gotten my shoes, vest, coat, and mittens on a little quicker. If only I had trimmed a few less whiskers of this Shaggy from Scooby-Doo style goatee, or revived from the admiring myself in the mirror coma moments sooner. If only I had gotten out the door and down the wooden staircase 2 minutes sooner and meandered through the maze of a parking lot faster and reached the corner crosswalk at the right time. If only I did not have to wait 3 minutes for the pedestrian signal to turn to walk, which it does every 3 minutes. If only the bus hadn't left the beginning of the line 2 minutes early, it would have stopped behind the red light and not zoom past me on the other side of the street and pull up to the bus stop 10 yards down. If only the pedestrian's walk signal did not mean run for your life, because this is the dirty South, baby. If only when the signal finally told me I may walk, the two cars turning right at the red light actually stopped instead of barely slowed down. If only the drivers at the other end of the crosswalk did not have me standing in the middle of traffic while they likewise turned right in front of me. If only the bus stop had 4 passengers in line to get on and show their bus passes instead of 3. If only one of the passengers had a worn-out dollar bill that the fare box kept spitting out like a baby taking spoon-fed medicine. If only 10 steps from the corner, I did not have to slow down and turn my head as I approached the entrance to the gas station where gas prices are often 2 cents less than anywhere else in the neighborhood. If only another 20 steps later, I wasn't slowing down and turning my head around again to make sure I wasn't creating a drive-over situation for someone on their way to the drive-through for their morning biscuit and coffee. If only I had kept off those 10 extra pounds my doctor keeps lecturing me about, maybe then I'd have made those 3 extra steps to bang the back of the bus to indicate to the driver I am not a jogger disguised in work clothes and that I was actually running to catch it before the bus pulled away from the curb and hit the gas to stay ahead of the 40-mile-per-hour traffic. If only I had made the bus, I wouldn't have been 30 minutes late to work, half an hour of pay short, with no reason to write this goddamn poem. The world is full of if-onlys. Sometimes they're actually for your own good and not something to beat up the inside of your skull about. Thank you so much.
You're muted, Chad.
Sorry, I was obsessing too much on who we lost, but it looks like we lost Jack Abe. Hopefully she can come back on. Up next, Generalissimo Brian Franco, who we're always glad to have us join us.
Let's see. Oh, my camera does work. Shalom, everyone. Let's see what I have for you. Let's see. Why tree ripen? Oh, why don't these things stand up? Okay. Why tree ripened peaches are the tastiest peaches? Was my heart easy pickings for you? Have you conned others with your well-practiced romanticism? All you had to do was be the right type of nice, the right type of considerate, the right type of respectful. You knew if you listened to me, maybe I had never been listened to before. You intentionally overwaxed the already slick parquet tiles in the vestibule so I would slip and fall, so you could catch me before my butt crashed against the hard floor, so you could lift me to my feet while you looked me in the eyes as if we were dancing with your arm cradling my back as you dipped me, then raised me up as if I was floating on air. Was I just another juicy peach on your next door neighbor's peach tree with a branch that crosses over the chain link fence into your side yard? Easy pickings. And upon arbitrarily running into an ex at Trader Joe's. One day, while squeezing persimmons at Trader Joe's, I espied a former lover of whom I hadn't seen in decades, of whom hadn't invaded my thoughts in decades, of whom had escaped my sleepy dreams over a decade ago, of whom broke my heart by surgically removing it with words that served as scalpel. This former lover walked over to me decades later and touched my shoulder lightly. This former lover dared look me in the eyes and said, "Hello, long time no see." This former lover said, "Should we grab a hot cup of lapsang souchong and catch up?" As if invoking my tea of choice from the past would not raise long dormant emotional keloids in my memory, I said, "Why not?" May I do a little short piece that Mark's poem reminded me of, Chad? Okay, I'll do that.
Go ahead, yeah.
Flipping my way down Main Street. I was driving down Main Street when a truck nearly hit my SUV as it jetted from a bank parking lot, as if the driver was chasing the last parking spot at Trader Joe's. I pressed my brakes hard to avoid a wreck. The driver stopped short less than 1.5 feet from my car and looked me in the eyes. Then I gave him a go-ahead wave rather than flipping him off. I smiled as he turned away. I let out a sigh of relief. I knew I did the right thing by not flipping him off, though my brain was chastising me for not flipping him off. But I couldn't stop smiling and laughing under my breath because it felt good to not let every frustration from an extremely frustrating day find my middle finger aimed at someone who might have had a worse day than me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And up next, I'm so glad he could join us. Mr. Robert Fleming, if you're ready to go, I will just need 1 second because I'm assuming you're going to want to share the screen again. So I'll do that and make sure that's taken care of in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're good.
Thank you. So I first want to give a shout out to Jeff Taylor, my upcoming book, Noir, which is coming out by Devil's Party Press. Matt Wall wrote the foreword for me, and he says in the foreword that he met me at the Garage Poets, your feature, Jeff. So thank you for that. And I am a contributor to a California press called Four Feathers Press, and they had a submission called Fall Leaves. This was the original inspiration for my piece, where I saw a dog in leaves. I wanted to do something similar, but a little different. And this was my first contribution. It's called Fall Migration from Everglades Wetland, Florida to Crescent City, California. Since the publication is in California, I selected in the title one of the most northern cities in California. And this is a variant on that, where I picked another one of the most northern cities in California, Sacramento. I continued exploring where else the snakes might go with leaves or with trees. And this is a future contribution to Medusa's Kitchen. This is called Choosing a Christmas Tree, #1. And this is Choosing a Christmas Tree, #2, which will be a little later where there's snow. And then this was the political image, which I submitted to the submission for the rise of fascism in the United States, which was not accepted. And I'm trying to find other places to submit it. It was originally called The Great Fascist of Pythons, and now I will be submitting it to a non-political magazine. I will call it The Great Governor of Pythons and get rid of the word fascist. So thank you for letting me show my publication today in Four Feathers Press and what else I did with snakes and Ron DeSantis. Greetings from Delaware.
Sounds like a nice end of summer essay, What I Did with Snakes and Ron DeSantis. I don't have to steal that title from you if you don't do anything with it. You got a week. You got a week, sir. But thanks in advance in case you don't take it. But if you do take it, I would run with it. Who do we have next? Oh, I think we are close to being all set. Did Jackie ever come back? Unfortunately, she did not. I guess her internet's not fully repaired. That's a pity. In lieu of James Van Looy not being here to read, or Jan Rowe, I'm just gonna pad the open mic a little bit with one of my pieces. It'll be interesting to do the Stone Soup Croutons again. I haven't had 3 weeks to do. I haven't done them in 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting what I write about this week. I did. I called this one "State of Disunion." This was done for the open mic all the way back on August 7th, before the Oddball, just right after the Boston Poetry Marathon and right before the Oddball Festival. State of Disunion. Too many people caught in hue of annoying orange. People want lottery. Winner gets meal. Rest of us get rocks. There's no way Trinity will look safe this lifetime. Corporations feign tightening belt when part of infinity lost. Numb to own genocide, we watch Hiroshima to jazz. Companies left with no one left to fire, downsize themselves. Devil is a liar, and we like the lies. Sit in poison, build wall. Survivors scrutinized. Why do they wish they died first time? Teach to not fear, new world, plague, pit of spikes, gator bites. New normal will be accepted when old world is forgotten. If our serpent world eats own tail, hey, it's still food. And with that, I'm going to do, I will soon do the best thing I usually can do on nights like this, which is shut up. But before I do that, I am going to remind you that next week we have Dexter Roberts featuring at Stone Soup Poetry. The husband of poetry, the other half of Poetry Power couple, Tony B and Dexter Roberts. Dexter is not only a poet, but an artist himself, working on his first collection. He's trying out new work. He'll be hopefully having a new art show coming up for the fall, and I'll be looking forward to following that as well. If you go on my blog and search his name, there are a number of paintings up on his display, which I've written poems about. He does excellent work. And on the 20th, we have Randy Barish, who some of the older guard might remember his name. He was around during the days of Stone Soup at the Blue Gallery on Prospect Street in Cambridge. He came there, I think, in early 2009. I want to say 2000. From 2006 to 2009, he was there. He divided his time between Cambridge and Florida. Now I believe he's in Massachusetts full time. And he has a poetry book that is out thanks to Wilderness House Literary Press and Steve Glines. So I urge you to grab that book either before or during the reading. I'll send links. I have links to it on my website. I will share links to it during the reading. So definitely support the poets if you can. And also we're going to have, I might as well say this now, I don't know who the last person in September will be, but I do know the poet kicking off October is going to be David R. Surratt, poet from the Malden area of Massachusetts, who is retired to the Cape. He has a brand new collection out, and he is doing his tour both virtually and in person. If you can see him in person, get one of those dates. Hopefully Stone Soup will be able to have him live again. We've tried a couple of times, but between his retirement and the difficulty of parking in some of the places we had, it was tough going, but hopefully we'll get him back live, but we're glad to get him for this show coming up. I'm very excited about that. And more poets are going to be announced for the rest of fall and the upcoming winter. CC Ashagra just sent his regards. So he is, he's not going to be here this Wednesday. He's not going to be available because of family matters, but I guess he's going to be performing on the 10th this Sunday with Poets at Large in Woodstock, Connecticut. So if I can find any information on that on his Facebook page, I'll share that onto the Stone Soup Facebook group, which if you haven't joined yet is easily searchable through Facebook, Stone Soup Poetry. We always post other poetry events, calls for submissions. I'll be posting some calls for submissions this Thursday, tomorrow in the afternoons, probably around 4 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. Some nice opportunities. And I think that about covers it for off the cuff announcements. Hope to see you all next week. And I hope you guys all stay for tonight's feature. So quick drum roll. We have for our feature tonight, Mr. Jeff Taylor, who has been many things in his time, performance poet, punk garage poet. He's been publisher. He's been a lot of things and has worn a lot of hats in his time in the Boston area. He currently lives with his wife and kids in Massachusetts, where he is a union worker. And when he isn't writing poems, he has performed at universities, theaters, festivals, bars, coffee houses, and sidewalks across the East Coast, and is a member of the 2023 Lizard Lounge Slam team. You can find his work in recent issues of the Bloodshed Review, Unlikely Stories, Bonfire, Oddball Magazine, Cajun Mutt, The Alien Buddha Gets a Real Job, Volume 2, American Graveyard, which is an amazing anthology from Red or Green Books on the gun violence epidemic. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the New Generation Beats 2023 anthology from the National Beat Poetry Foundation. I would consider Jeff's style to be a direct descendant of the Beats. I always get suspect when people throw around the phrase, I'm a beat poet, because that seems like that's a phrase where most likely I'm going to say, oh, wait, are you now? Jeff is one of those people I would not say, oh, are you now? I would say, of course you are, Jeff. And he's had an exciting style that translates to the page, to the performance level with music from Ethan Mackler and other such people. And it's been great to see him perform a lot over the last couple of years. He's one of the first people that we got back to Stone. I think he's the very first group, or actually the second group we got back to Stone Soup when we had that beloved second run at the Assemblage Gallery. It was great to have him there with his, and that's a performance you can see on YouTube. It's great to have him tonight. So let's welcome and applaud Mr. Jeff Taylor. Put you guys together 20, 30 times, virtually or otherwise.
Thank you, Chad. I really love being here. Stone Soup, it always feels like home when I pop into the Zoom or wherever you are in person. Always a great place to be. Always feels like I'm coming back to where I started. Because Stone Soup is the first open mic I went to. My friend Pete took me to in like the 1999 when we were, I think it was at the Middle East. TT's, because yeah, it was at TT the Bears, and then migrated to Middle East after that. So it was at TT the Bears still when I first started coming, and yeah, always feels like home. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that beat poet fits with me, because Ginsberg, Corso, Kerouac, that's what really got me into writing. So that's my inspiration to start this. So seeing that somebody that would know, like yourself, I think thinks I fit in with that really means a lot. So thanks a lot, Chad.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So over the last bunch of years, so I'm thinking from post 9/11 to post Trump, the world has been filled with so many what the fuck moments that we're is this even really happening? Do we live in reality? Is there even such a thing as reality? So many things from sci-fi books that we thought were so bizarre are word for word true now. And I'm not talking about new scientific revelations. I'm talking about just bizarre shit that interactions that people have or but so that gets, because of all those moments, it gets me thinking about the possibilities of multiple universes and alternate timelines, and are we living on an alternate timeline? Is that even a thing? But I contemplate this all the time, and that feeds into my writing. So when I the Bloodshed Review Volume 3, put out by Poetic Anarchy Press, I was given the center section where I have a chapbook. It's kind of like in a pull-out form, but the chapbook, and first there's like some poetry before and some poetry after my two other poets, Adam Crawford and Tamara Albana, and they get some really great poetry leading up to it. But where I had the center section, I wanted to put into it kind of like a world building exercise of what has happened in the United States, maybe the world from kind of the era, the last the last decade or so. And so what I have is called the Shitbrick Paradox. And I think I'll throw the. You can buy it on Etsy at Matt Wall's Etsy shop. I know he's working on getting a Poetic Anarchy Press website going. Currently, the Etsy is working out pretty good, though. They I don't think they take too much. Guy. Oh, he's a very busy guy, definitely. Yeah. With his podcast, all the videos he does, all the poetry he puts out. He does a lot. So I want to read from you that the Shitbrit Paradox. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's not super long, but I wanted to read it in its entirety because I really thought out a storyline of. So there's two poems that are centered around the physical representations of bricks, kind of bricks have come to life. And there's two versions of the poem that kind of line up together, and so they bookend the Shitbrick Paradox. So the first one is called Zeno's Paradox, and then the second part is called the American Brick Struggling with Zeno's Paradox, and it's kind of like my interpretation of what it's been like living in society the past decade or so. I'm kind of like a bystander in this story. The first brick felt like a toaster, only louder, more romantic about the way it leaves things. I could tell by the way the edges had worn, by the way the red was pink, that it had taken the wrong shape somehow, that this brick was meant to be a kitchen appliance. 2, 3, 4. The fifth brick was held together by mortar, slapped across the exposed wide side in a way I could tell the work had been done just after lunch. The sixth brick was so covered in smut I could hardly tell it was there. A woman in a blue pantsuit was standing on the seventh, wondering why my gait was a crawl. She had a fake tattoo of a cross across her left forearm. The top part of the yellow vertical line flaked off in a way it looked like a capital T. I told her my last name was Taylor, but this puzzled her further. 8, 9, 10, and 11 is 2 ones put together, a couple of the loneliest numbers on a date. It rained yesterday, encrusted a worm to brick 12. I picked at it. The worm came off easily. When I tapped on the 13th, it sounded hollow, like Whitey Bulger was hiding under there. Before I got to 14, a mosquito flew into my eye and was squished to death with the squint of my lash. I almost skipped ahead to the 15th, while pulling pieces of broken toothpicks from under my skin. I dripped blood on brick 16, pooled and crusted into my eyes. The plasma proved to improve my vision. 50, 75, 100. Suffering from separation anxiety. 101 cracked a clean split when I rubbed it with my index finger. Romance means nothing to bricks. Heartless fucks, every one of them. 102 was painted blue. It reminded me of the rubber ducky from Bert and Ernie. YES was written on 103. Wiping the dried blood from my right eye with my left forearm, I scratched TERDAY into 104 with a piece of glass. 105 had on the suit Napoleon wore at Waterloo. I don't know how they got the blood out, but I've never been one to romanticize the truth. 106 housed a burnt-out roach. The 107th brick smelled like a chick, but never a second time. 150, 200, 300. Number 307 was once licked by Abigail Adams during a game of Truth or Dare. The 308th brick has a family history of being the 308th brick. His father was the 308th brick in the 283rd Battalion during the Korean War. His grandfather was originally intended for the Berlin Wall, but was accidentally redirected to a blood bank in Detroit. 309 is wanted for murder. She switched places with 412, who had an alibi for the evening in question. 413 used to be an extra on the Banana Splits. 414 wets the bed. I know this kid who used to date this girl who saw the brick 415 pass out at 32 Flavors last night. It's really serious. 475, 485, 495. On the first Thursday of every month, 496 serves food to the homeless at the soup kitchen on Essex Street. Brick 497, not unlike my grandmother, hides bottles of apricot brandy all over the house. 498 walks like an Egyptian. Brick 499 has been the chief financial officer for 5 bankrupt.coms. 500 is the number of spree one person can eat before puking. 500 was Nelson Riley's SAT score. The summer of 500 was a great year to vacation in the Fertile Crescent. The woman in the blue pantsuit grabbed the 500th brick and swapped it with the 105th. But this is Boston Common, not Waterloo. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's not to trust anyone over the age of 12 that has a fake tattoo. That's Zeno's Paradox, Part 1. I kind of wrote these to flow into each other, so I'm just going to go right into the next one. I kind of talked a lot at the beginning. I packed a bowl because the J-O-B is F-U-C-T. I took hits from the bong because the government. I've taken joint rides with my boss, and I've taken joint rides because of my boss. I stuck a piece of hash to the tip of a safety pin 'cause someone spread eggshells all over the floor. I wake and bake with concentrates, 'cause morning glories are useless in the afternoon. I haven't tried my hand at cultivation, 'cause I've been losing my hair since my 20s. I deleted the app connected to my Bluetooth-enabled vape pen so the feds can't track my habits. I bought a smell-proof pouch because the NSA got a hold of this poem before I wrote it. I'll take 2 puffs from the peace pipe because I'm both an Autobot and a Decepticon. I'll roll a cognac dip blunt because I've worked hard to be good at what I do. I'll pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side because I've been hopping fences too long to not already have hit the grass. I'll keep killing brain cells because one of these days I'm gonna catch the one I've been hunting. This is Catfish. My cat says voting is a sucker's game. I bought him a collar on Etsy with the words, "I voted," embroidered on it. But I haven't made him wear it. As I hold it awkwardly close to his face, whispering about possibilities, he looks at me like I'm wasting my breath. Not having believed in anything since being catfished by Taylor Swift. Every night for nearly a year, the pop star mimicked our neighbor's cat's ritual. Until T. Swift's love dance was revealed to be a nefarious ruse concocted to win a bet with Ariana Grande. It's been 0 fucks and Sex Pistols ever since, coming ass to mouth with the fact that rich people take their niche pastimes way too far and don't give a shit about any cat's feelings. You can read that one in Oddball. This is, My Dog's Name Is Not America. My dog's name is not America, but he did climb on a table he couldn't get down from. Now he knows everything smells the same since the engine started, spreading the scraps in a way it looks clean, till a good wind hits, and suddenly I'm wearing a shiny green suit at a funeral. I don't think I'm dead, but this isn't living. Domesticated. Putting domestic before terrorist makes them sound like the Budweiser of mass shooters. Like, even if they're wrong, at least they're trying. I wish the newspapers meant domestic like clean under the fridge. At least that would be useful. Why not say domesticated like take the Proud Boys to the dog park? Like we taught them how. Or does domesticated sound too much like radicalized? Too much like pledging allegiance? This one is a bird bath on the moon. So I've been fighting bronchitis for like a week. So if you hear a little... When QAnon's local representative told me Edward Snowden's oligarch handlers revived the birds aren't real conspiracy to troll the bald eagle, I expected news of a noticeable uptick in bird murders would arrive with my morning cereal. Even though I haven't eaten a bowl since the 3rd grade when I puked into my Wheaties. Since January 6th, there are connections in the glare of the winter sun that only exist after you've seen them. But as the ground warms around QAnon's followers, they are addicts without an organization to acclimate them. A bird bath on the moon, armed to the teeth with explosives. This is American Bricks Struggling with Paradox, Part 2. The first brick refuses to buy a microwave. He says because of the radiation, but I know his family owns a toaster oven factory. The second brick became internet famous for getting smashed over the head with a vanilla milkshake. He tried to sell me a bottle of ivermectin, autographed by Joe Rogan. The fourth brick has a family history of being the fourth brick. Her grandfather was originally intended for the Berlin Wall, but was redirected to a blood bank in Detroit. She refuses to see the angle of her view has shifted, even though she's pivoting from the same place. Brick 8 sits on the toilet, retweeting Elon Musk. He claims to be advocating for free speech and decentralized banking, but I think he just likes smelling his own shit. The 16th brick got on a bus chartered to D.C., but was left behind in Atlanta when he went out for a cigarette. I'm still trying to figure out how he wound up being thrown at a cop in Boston. Brick 32 is a paid informant. He took online swimming classes when the pandemic hit, but almost drowned because his connections sucked. Brick 64 unwittingly befriended an alt-right troll while volunteering at a soup kitchen. I've only ever heard them talk about addiction. Brick 128 thinks he's doing it for different reasons than his white separatist friends, even though I've told him that's mental masturbation. Brick 256 wants to start a riot so widespread we have no choice but to start over just so we can say he owned the libs. Brick 512 tried to overthrow the government, but nobody seemed to care or notice their numbers had been doubling for generations. Brick 1024 refuses to see they lost, but that doesn't change the fact that they lost. So that's the end of my world journey. I hope you enjoyed it. It started getting tough for me on that last one. My bronchitis is catching up with me.
I won't ask for an encore. Thank you guys. Thank you very much, guys. Did it up for 30, 40 times. I wish I had known that. I could have postponed your reading a little bit more just so you could have recovered. I as having had bronchitis myself, it's a bitch. It's awful.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know. I felt like I'm at home just sitting around, that I kind of wanted to see people and talk to people and to do something.
Well, I'm glad we could supply that for you. And if you guys have access to, I don't know if you have your PayPal out or Venmos, if you want to share that, and we can slide a couple of bucks to you between now and tomorrow. It would be our pleasure.
Yeah, I hang on. I forget
You
what
can
it
type.
is.
You can type them into that.
Yeah. All right.
Jeff, do you want money or chicken soup?
Yes.
I want.
Or penicillin.
Well, Bill has some chickens.
I want people to buy my.
Send them the chickens.
I want people to buy the Bloodshed Review Volume #3 for $7 on sale now.
Okay, perfect. I will. We'll pass that on.
Can I just send Walter a box of sausages instead?
We'd love that. I mean, you could do both.
Or maybe just a box of dog yummies, you know.
Sausages.
Away from my
Sausages.
I can get him the sausages with CBD.
Sausages.
You know, my friend had to whose dog has anxiety got dog edibles.
Dog with a medical marijuana prescription.
They make them.
I have catnip that comes in a thing that says Mawana. Meow. It's like meowana.
Oh no.
Yeah, there was a booth at a farmer's market in Atlanta that sold a lot of dog biscuits and stuff, and there was a whole section of doggy edibles. So
nice.
Marijuana and CBD and everything. Yeah.
Do you remember in the 1970s there was an animated porno movie of a cat called Fritz the Cat?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes,
I love that movie.
I own that movie. I have that movie on VHS.
Yeah, there was never a dog one.
I don't think
maybe
I don't think Arcrum was a dog person.
No.
It was Ralph Bakshi who directed it. He even tried to do the Lord of the Rings, like it did a stop motion kind of Lord of the Rings, half of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2 fun facts. Arcrum hated that movie so much he killed off his character. The character was based on Fritz the Cat in a later comic. Had him stabbed in the head with an ice pick.
Yes.
And then Bakshi just did a sequel, The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat.
So was Fritz the Cat part of the fabulous Furry Freak Brothers?
No, that's Fat Freddy's cat.
Fat Freddy's, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Fritz the Cat was Arcrum's own creation, and I'm trying to think. Oh, they recently came out with a DVD version, and Steve Bissette does the commentary. I'm almost thinking of buying it just for that because he's such a underground cartoon scholar. It might be worth it.
Well,
Chad, would Oddball publish the cartoon Fritz the Cat now?
Probably not. There's a lot of things that Oddball probably would not publish, and Fritz the Cat in any incarnation is probably one of them, unfortunately. We get artists that publish that publish like frontal nudity or like painted, and Jason Wright gets into a Rodney Dangerfield like pull the collar sweat stance. So I can just see what Fritz the Cat would do to him, unfortunately.
Especially the crows, right? Yeah.
But yes, Fritz forever, Bill. Actually, I guess you could have seen the movie in the theaters. I saw it decades later. I saw it decades after its time. But
I saw it when it first came out. I'm that old.
Oh, I was like 40 years old or something. No, it's a very recent movie.
1970s movie, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably like 1995 when I saw it.
Do you think it should be brought to Broadway now as a musical?
Yes, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Have Mel Brooks do the screenplay.
Only if James Franco is going to play Fritz the Cat.
That would work.
It's gotta
That I
be
would
James
watch.
Franco.
That.
Yeah.
Under certain conditions, yes. I'm just still hung up on this these edibles for dogs and cats. I thought that was hogwash.
Now wait a second, Jeff. Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah.
Tommy Wiseau plays Fritz the Cat.
Okay. I was thinking Franco just because he's talented and he's a super creep.
Well,
like the Fritz the Cat is like a super creep, so I don't know.
Good point. Yeah, he'd work too.
That's going to be one of the songs, Jeff. Super creep.
Super freak. He's just very with the lady folk, but he's got a good heart in there. That's the thing. He's not evil. He's just expressing the things that many men are afraid to express to the women around them because they'll get thrown in jail. But still,
horniness. Yes.
Is that Tom York's new song, Super Creep?
Oh God.
I think Supertramp changed their name. I really.
At this point, my Stones to Krypton poem is going to be nothing but Fritz the Cat fan fiction.
I love Fritz the Cat. I thought it was great. I still love it.
The 9 Lives one isn't as good, unfortunately. Very loose vignettes.
Be sure to include Fritz in the croutons.
Yeah.
I think I have no choice at this point.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm gonna have to think about edibles for dogs. I thought that was baloney, and then I see how stressed my mom's dog gets around her, and I'm thinking, God, he has to stay with her the whole time. I think he might stand an edible brownie.
Maybe edibles for mom would be better. I don't know.
My brother's dog has severe anxiety, but they will not give him marijuana. But he has taken anxiety medication for dogs.
Oh, SSRIs for dogs. I've heard of that before. Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
It's real.
Hey, I have to drop out there. I have to meet up with Anna about some maybe in-person Garage Poets open mic.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the feature.
Before we go, let's just do a quick wave, and appreciate you guys coming. Ethan, I appreciate you being a silent observer. It's always nice to have you around. Hopefully, you can read next time or perform next time. And thanks so much to Jeff for performing tonight. I thought we were going to have some more people join us for some late readings, but unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't want to keep people waiting. So, respect for the people who are, here. So I'll say that we'll sign off tonight and watch for the Crouton Fritz the Cat fanfic on Friday. Say that 3 times fast. And stay tuned for publishing call for submissions. The various publications. I found a lot of haiku journals are asking for stuff now, print and online, as well as some other places. There's some place I might even post it tonight that's looking for that's doing like a 24-hour chapbook challenge. They're giving you till midnight to submit something, and they're going to try to publish a chapbook per week. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it sounds interesting. So I might share that in the next hour or so. But some more exciting stuff will be announced, and hopefully the Stones Throw issue will be out very shortly. The Aim for the Thoughts and Prayers issue. The cover art has been selected. We're just waiting on 1 or 2 pieces. That's enough rambling from me. So thank you guys very much for coming out tonight, and I hope to see all of you and even more next week. Hopefully James will be back, Jan will be back, Carol will be back. Hopefully it'll be even a greater time of greater night of reunions. But thanks to everyone who came out, and if you're new here or haven't been here for a while, just hope you keep on coming back. More features coming, more exciting stuff.
Bravo, Chad! Bravo, Chad!
Thank you, Bill. Have a good night, everyone. It's good to be back.
Good night.
Chad, he's our hero. Chad, for he's so strong.
Now I'm getting creepy.